whatever they think of NRA's political stances, and political activities, that's separate from the professional training, the curriculum, the experience that they have. It's such a silly, juvenile thing to do.
Not Me is for women, by women, and is designed to help women with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. If you are a woman or you know a woman who needs help, have her sign up, and we will give her the help you need. To sign up, go to notmesd.org.
All right, so, hopefully everybody has heard by now what happened with SB2. It was an emotional roller coaster. But as of now, we have Bill, I'd call this a semi-permanent win. You know what I mean? I think that we're going to get this injunction is going to be in place for a while, but it's not permanent. We still have to work our way through everything. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
My thoughts on the whole thing, most people understand that the biggest part of SB2 that affects concealed carry holders is the sensitive places.
Yeah.
You guys have got your injunction on that. That's going to end up going to court at some point. It'll get adjudicated. It's down the road, okay? We kicked that down the road a little bit. Yeah. The biggest thing that a lot of CCW holders do not understand is what the DOJ did with their emergency regulations and what they're trying to do there. And I got to tell you right now, for the people in San Diego County, you are amongst the luckiest ones in this whole mess, because our sheriff's department has given us a lot of help, and they've done a lot to counter what the DOJ has been trying to do. They've been awesome. Other counties, they're literally being shut down. They're losing all their CCW instructors.
I'm trying to think what organization out there was advocating for this sheriff and helped her get elected.
That would be us.
Yeah, that would be us. Exactly right. Can't tell you how many people are like, well, just wait for her to turn on you. Wait for her to turn on you. And now we're watching her support CCW and gun owners above and beyond some of the other folks that are normally thought of as pro CCW. But that's a whole other discussion. So Bill McLaren from Second Amendment Firearms Training, tell the story. I talked only a little bit about it because the sensitive areas thing was such a ping pong game. Talk about exactly what happened. What happened with the emergency orders? How does it affect you, and how does it affect your customers?
How it affects us is that the way the DOJ wrote that order, if you look at the actual penal code, they dropped a whole bunch of eligible certifications to be a CCW instructor off of that list with their emergency order, and basically narrowed it down to law enforcement. Okay.
Well, so you had it. So it used to be one of the things that SB2 did is they centralized all these certifications, what you have to do to be an instructor. Normally, it was up to the sheriff.
Right.
They picked it. What would you do to the sheriff?
What we did was every single county is different. I can only talk for San Diego County. Yeah. What happens in San Diego County is they have a requirement, and it's actually a pretty steep requirement. They require you to have a minimum of an NRA pistol instructor. You need an advanced NRA instructor, and you need a COE. That's the basic level to be able to teach CCW here.
COE is basically it's like a big, huge background check that says, hey, this person is eligible.
It's the same background check we go through to buy a gun.
And it's renewed every year.
Yeah. But it has to be renewed every year.
Gotcha.
But those are the requirements in San Diego County.
And so then the state stepped in and said, hey, sheriffs, we're going to tell you what you have to require.
Right.
They centralized it, the California DOJ. Surprise, surprise, the California DOJ did a horrible job.
Yep.
And what are the differences? What do you mean that only law enforcement? What is the actual difference?
We talk about it used to be. It's been this way for decades.
Right.
Okay. Yep. This has been set for decades. Most of the instructors that are teaching you guys your CCW, they're NRA certified instructors. A few of them are BSIS certified instructors. But the bottom line is that the majority of them are highly experienced, well-trained instructors. What the DOJ has said is, oh, guess what? You guys can go to hell. We don't want you guys anymore. We just want law enforcement instructors. You tell me what law enforcement guy went through the academy and learned about concealed carry.
Yeah.
You tell me what BSIS instructor who teaches armed guard cards learned about concealed carry in his training.
Yeah.
And the answer is nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. It's really doesn't make any sense. It feels like, so what they did is they said, hey, this NRA instructor thing, out. No NRA.
No NRA.
And that feels like that's a political move.
It's a vindictive move. But the other thing is that, okay, government wants to change regulations. That's fine. But you're looking at a business that's been established, not just mine,
Right.
but many businesses that have been established for many years. They've been meeting with compliance and everything they're required to do, doing a great job. And now you're saying, well, now you have to be this certified in order to continue doing that. Where's the path forward?
You're right.
They didn't provide any path forward. They simply shut down an industry.
And in that, but something like 2/3 not only couldn't comply, or I'm sorry, not only didn't comply. In other words, they didn't have the certifications that the state mandated, but there was no path. They couldn't comply. It's not like they could say, well, all right, here, I'll take a week off and I'll go take the certification. I'll be good to go. The way it looked was that there was no way to comply.
No.
And so when that happened, when they had this draft, which by the way, it hasn't actually been implemented yet. They sent out a draft and they said, here, what do you guys think? And there was a bunch of feedback and it looked horrible. So what was the sheriff's in San Diego? What was their response?
The great response from our sheriff. It took a while and things changed over Christmas time, from like the week before Christmas through to the 1st of January. Things were changing almost on a daily basis. Yeah. The sheriff was scrambling to try and figure out what to do. They came up with what I think is a pretty damn good solution for San Diego County. All the instructors that were currently authorized on the list to teach, they will remain authorized to teach an ARCCW class until such time as we would have been due to renew our certifications in like July or August of 2024, at which point we will have to comply with whatever new regulations are in force.
An additional like 7-8 months.
Right. They also said you same instructors will also be allowed to teach the AR and the 16-hour, so the new AR renewal and the 16-hour initial class. But we had to submit new training curriculums for these two classes, which have to be approved by the Sheriff's Department. And then if you look on the Sheriff's list now, it's like hieroglyphics everywhere. There's all these little different symbols that mean different things, okay? It's secondary firearms training and McLaren Defense. We've been on this since the second it hit the floor.
Right.
We got all our instructors compliant with what they wanted so that we could stay in business. We got a whole ton. We got about 70 people ahead of January 1st to get them through that.
Congratulations. So 70 of your students were able to
avoid the new regulations.
Avoid the new additional 8 hours for initials and or 4 hours
for the time being anyway.
For the time being.
So the way it works right now, and this is the best clarification we have, and this did come from the sheriff in the meeting we had on the 27th, and I have confirmed it in person with the Sheriff's Department with Jessica
Marty.
Yeah, she's a really good person.
I think she's a huge credit to that organization. I think in licensing, they're all really good, and I think Jessica is an example of just how good a clerk in licensing can be. I mean, she's just absolutely wonderful, knowledgeable, cooperative, informative, always answers her emails and phone calls. She's wonderful.
Yeah, so with their help, with us being persistent, we've managed to get ahead of this. We've been keeping all our 3,000-plus students informed of what's happening on a daily basis. What we need is for them to get it out to everybody else, because we can only reach so many people. Right now, if you applied for your CCW in 2023, you will only have to take an 8-hour initial class.
You're grandfathered in.
You're grandfathered in on that. If you applied after 2023, i.e. after Jan 1, you will have to take the 16-hour class that comes under the new rules.
And what's the difference between the? I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead. But my next question is going to be, what's the difference between the 8 and the 16 hours?
The 8 and the 6. The 8 is for renewals. Okay, you've got your initial 8 for the old one. We have a curriculum for that. It's been approved. We teach that. The sheriff's grandfathered that in. However, for the new 16-hour class, we have to include mental health counseling.
What does that look like? What does that mean?
Right now, what it means is we talk about
I come in.
anything to do with mental health counseling for 1 hour.
So
They don't give any guidance.
So I come in and I lay on a couch and you counsel me, Bill, like an old.
We're going
like
to
an old
talk
trick.
about things about how to identify. It's a valid point. If you have a concealed firearm, it's not locked in a safe all the time.
Right.
It's important that if you have family members who may be suffering from some kind of mental health problem, that you can identify that and take extra steps to make sure they can't get hands on a gun. Likewise, you need to be able to identify if you have mental health problems. Yeah, we're not psychoanalyzing people. We're just broaching the subject. We're also going to tell them where they can get mental health counseling in San Diego County. This is not you being psychoanalyzed. Sure. It's just a discussion about mental health and how important it is, especially with a CCW gun, which is not locked up all the time.
I don't think that's bad.
Okay.
I mean, the content,
So
anyway.
let me be the devil's advocate.
All right.
Let's say you do this, and you do the 16-hour, and then that person goes out someplace, whacks out, and shoots somebody. Can they come back to you and say, "Well, you looked at their"?
No, we're not giving mental health advice.
So then why are
we're
you
simply because we have been told by the state that we have to do it, and they have given us at this point no guidance on what we have to talk about.
So as long as you're not giving you guys, they really
we're
can't
not giving
come after
advice. We're simply going to point out the kind of factors to look for that would maybe not necessarily say you have it, but it could be a warning indicator.
Well, you had a student a while back, we won't mention her name, that qualified for you to basically say,
Well, as an instructor, when people are coming through, what we're signing off on when we sign that certificate is that they're proficient with their firearm, and part of that proficiency is going to be safe. So it's not only accuracy in the qual, it's going to be safe handling and all of that. We don't issue the permits. We simply sign off on the certificate stating that they met the standards that the sheriff has given us that we have to have them abide by.
This is an ongoing argument.
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, a lot of companies waste an enormous amount of money on marketing. The design is excellent, the photos are beautiful, and your website looks great, but it's just not getting customers. Why? Because you don't have the words that make people buy. But now you can fix that with Sage Tree. Sage Tree can help you find the words that make it easy for your customers to understand what you do and how to buy from you. Stop wasting money today and schedule a call. Getting started is real easy. Go to sagetree.com. Click on the Schedule an Appointment button. That's sagetree.com. And don't forget, click that Schedule a Call button.
All right, we're talking to Bill McLaren. We're talking about SB2. SB2 threatened to stop concealed carry for everybody in California, but thanks to a couple lawsuits, one of them was ours. The bans on sensitive areas and the requirement to hang signage is all gone. So I'm right back here in the studio carrying concealed, just the way God intended, Bill. So. Congratulations to everybody involved, and we're so happy. But we're talking to Bill specifically about some of the other ways that SB2 is affecting Californians. But thankfully, in San Diego, you're giving high praise to the sheriff for being extremely reasonable and making sure that there is still a path for people to get training and carry.
We've got a temporary path, and just to go back to what we were talking about before, we talked about. In 2024, if you applied for your CCW after Jan 1st, you will have to do the 16-hour course. Right. For renewals, you're all going to have to do the 8-hour renewal course. The good news is we already have 8-hour renewal courses posted going up. We've taken that schedule down like 5 or 6 times as things changed. Yeah. We're finally getting it up. Second A will have them up there on Monday morning. There will be 8-hour renewal classes on our website available for you to take. McLaren Defense will have them up as well. We're moving forward with this. It's a glitch. The basic thing, the way we look at it is the government wants you to quit. They want you to give up because this is too damn difficult.
You're exactly right.
And what we've been trying to do since this kicked in is we're trying to make it as seamless and as easy as possible for people to comply with what they need to comply with and get this done. That's why we talked to this before Christmas. If you're a San Diego County gun owner member.
Yeah. Okay, so I was going to do a big setup. This is very, very cool. And forgive me, I haven't gotten this updated on the website yet, but it will be. And we're also going to put this out in an email. SB2 just kind of took a lot of it took a lot of bandwidth. Okay, big announcement from Bill McLaren at Second Amendment Firearms Training. Has a huge offer for San Diego County gun owners members, and that offer is...
Okay, if you're a San Diego County gun owner member and you need to do an 8-hour CCW class, so let's clarify that. That's an 8-hour renewal, or we split up the 16-hour class when it finally comes out. Will be 2 8-hour classes to make it easier for people. So that class is an 8-hour class as well. Any 8-hour California CCW class you do with us, there's a code on the website. You get a $40 discount on that class. And that is per class. If you have to take 2, you get $40 on each one.
That's awesome. $40 per class. So wait a minute.
That's $80.
That's $80. Thank you, Dave.
Well, you used to work at a bank.
I only have so many fingers and toes, so I'm glad you pointed that out. That's $80 for 2 classes.
Yep.
Huge financial advantage to being a San Diego County gun owners.
Yeah.
Enormously generous, too. And that I got to tell you, that's probably the most generous offer anyone's ever given San Diego County gun owners members, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We do it because we appreciate what San Diego County owners does. That's why we support Gun Prom. That's why we're 10-ring members.
Yes.
That's why we come in here and do the radio shows. Our hope is that, what does the basic membership cost, $100?
$100 a year, $10 a month.
So now if you've got a CCW permit, that's only costing you $60 because you're saving $40 on your CCW.
Yeah.
Give that money to San Diego County gun owners.
That's awesome.
Thank
you
totally
so
agree.
much. Isn't that awesome?
I think so.
I'm seriously, gosh, I hope I don't, but I think that is the most generous offer any instructor, anybody's ever given San Diego County gun owners member. We're obviously appreciative of anything anyone's willing to do for San Diego County gun owners members, but that's phenomenal. Thank you so much, Bill.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we're so happy about our members. One of the things you can look forward to is that you talk about Gun Prom. Gun Prom's October 12th. We're going to announce that thing in a couple of weeks. We're just going to do a save the date, mark your calendar thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Whole new. It's like, think of it as Gun Prom 2.0, version 2.0.
Hey, you want to see if
it's Gen 2 Gun Prom?
You want to see if Alicia will compete?
Compete?
Maybe she'll do 45.
Well, she's one of the instructors, Dave.
Oh,
she's already. Yeah, she's one of the ones.
When you get the first with us now.
That's a lot of money. That's 90.
What do you mean? No, it's still 80, Dave. It's still 80. No, if you
She's trying
go
to get me
through
to-
her or through Bill, you'll get her as the instructor.
Well, I didn't know you worked for them.
That's like bidding against myself.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, which is okay. You can bid against.
Yeah,
her.
we're actually, if you look on the sheriff's list right now, I think McLaren Defense and Second A Firearms Training are the only 2 that are certified to do all the classes as of Friday. When I looked on Friday, there are there's maybe 6 or 7 that can do renewal classes, but there's only my 2 companies that can do we're way ahead of everybody else on this. We've been busting our hump.
Congratulations. Good for that. That's awesome. I just looked while we were talking. I just looked at my permit. I'm good till January of next year. So
See?
January 2025.
Yeah,
So hopefully everything.
Are
now
you
you
just
can
now
save
looking
40.
for the first time?
Probably the first time in in the year or whatever I've had it. So yeah.
I better check mine.
I don't remember getting it last year in January though. I don't know. Maybe I did. But anyway.
Here's one thing you got to think about. The sheriff's done us a solid in the way they've grandfathered this in.
100%.
If this new regulation goes in and they stick to it, you're still going to lose about 80% of the CCW instructors come January unless they provide a pathway forward for those instructors to get certified.
So let's talk a little bit more about that. So by taking away the NRA instructor, the only path is to have been in law enforcement.
Or BSIS, which is basically baton training,
Which is basically what?
Your armed guard trainers, the guys who do armed guard training.
And a majority of those, the easiest path is going to be law enforcement.
Is law enforcement.
Yeah.
See, there's no real path for us. I'm ex-military, so I don't get to qualify for any of these things anymore. If I was active duty military, I could get into these classes and do them, but because I'm retired, I can't do it anymore. And anybody who's a civilian instructor, it's very difficult for them. There's literally no path for
You
them
have
to
to
get
find
into it.
what's like a it's called post. It's a post-blessed instructor course which technically one of the prereqs is law enforcement, unless you find an instructor willing to let you kind of slide in.
A lot
hard.
of the chiefs and the sheriffs don't want their guys teaching that class to civilians.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
It was a big education for me. It was actually kind of confusing. I had no idea all the different types of certification because it was so easy. NRA's been around and they're experienced. Whatever they think of NRA's political stances, and political activities, that's separate from the professional training, the curriculum, the experience that they have. It's such a silly, juvenile thing to do. It's not like NRA is getting millions of dollars, because you get certified to be, you know what I mean? It's so silly.
But don't they want us trained?
No, absolutely not. They want us disarmed. They want us disarmed.
Think of supply and demand. What's it going to do when most instructors can't offer it? How hard is it going to be for the public to find a course?
It shows you
how expensive is it going to be?
It is. Yeah. But Bill's looking way down the road. I do want to say Bill's looking way down the road. Right now, just concentrate on the things we can control. Things like, get your training, support, all the things that we're doing. Support the radio show. Support Bill and folks that are in the fight, doing the things they need to do. Support the gun show. Do all the things that you can control. Don't throw your hands up in the air and go, oh my gosh, we got all this da. We'll figure it out. If they put up a roadblock, we'll figure out a way to go around it.
Because we still have a Second Amendment right.
We still have a Second Amendment. We'll either figure out a way to go around it, or we'll get an attorney and we'll bust right through it. But I get it. Sometimes it's frustrating. How many more times do we have to win? Every time there's a roadblock, I get a slew of texts and emails. And man, guys, I'm here for you. If you gotta pour out your heart and say, "Oh, I'm so frustrated," whatever, let's commiserate together. Let's, fine. But people just fall apart. I'm like, guys, we're gonna win. We're gonna win this thing. We finally have everything in place. We just have to be patient. Yeah, it's frustrating. But we keep winning. Things keep going in the right direction.
That's why you're seeing as many roadblocks as you are, because you're getting closer and closer to the finish line.
Well, Bill, this SB2 is just an absolute fit that they threw.
It's a knee-jerk reaction to the Bruin decision.
Yeah.
Big middle finger.
Yeah. We've already seen New York's one got struck down, and it's almost identical bill to what California is trying to put through.
Right.
They're going to lose. What they're hoping is that it's going to take so long for them to lose that we give up. So
my message, don't know who they're talking to.
My message is we don't give up, and we don't just look at today. I'm going to disagree with you on that. We have to look down the road. 6 months is not far.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, I hear you. But I guess what I'm saying, just don't panic over it.
Right.
Don't panic
over it. But you've got to keep your eye on the ball.
Bump in the road.
Yeah.
Just a bump in the road.
Well, but Bill, you're a lot like me in that I like to say that there are two kinds of people in the world. There are people who agree with me, and then there's the undecided. And right now, Gavin Newsom's just undecided.
Yeah, but I think he's undecided on a lot of things.
I think we're going to convince him. I think we're going to convince him.
Really, if it was, like to your point, Dave, about don't they want people trained? Even if they try to get the DOJ tries to come back with they want something more uniform, they want to make sure that their instructors are to a certain standard. Maybe what is that standard? Maybe they need to provide an opportunity for the training. Maybe they provide it. Maybe they pick instructors that they want to be able to teach it, and make sure all the instructors have an opportunity to come up and meet that standard. And take training courses there.
Well, I think we're, like I said, if every roadblock we're either going to go around it or we're going to knock right through it. One of the things I'm extremely proud of is, we didn't know how long this stay on the injunction was going to last, so we were all preparing, and trying to figure out, well, how exactly do we do this? And San Diego County gun owners messaging that we would not participate in this signage program that they had. I'm extremely proud of that. It was something that took a lot of thought. We really had to figure out how we're going to do this. And I know everyone's first reaction was, a lot of people's first reaction was, hey, let's get these signs, let's put them out there. And San Diego County gun owners immediately said, you know what, we're not participating in this. This is as offensive as it gets. It's no different than some of the other, it's no different than some of the racism and bigotry we've seen. and some of the signs that have had to be posted and it's no different. And I'm really, really proud of the stance they took, and in the face of resistance, even from its own members, and I'm very, very happy about that. But more importantly, I'm extremely happy that yesterday that stay is gone, the injunction's in place, and Bill and Alicia and I can carry, and Dave can eventually get his CCW.
Hopefully.
Call me.
I got to do algebra.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.